Good afternoon, everybody. Today we have with us Tess Brown, who is the Director of Marketing and Communications for the Horizon Funds of Northern Kentucky. Tess, thanks for giving me some of your time today.
Thank you for having me, Judge Knochelmann. We're terribly excited to be here.
You bet. Well, and we've talked to Nancy Grayson, who's obviously the president and CEO of the organization, but you know a lot of work with in a lot of areas with the Horizon Funds. Would love to talk to you about especially the kind of reaction to COVID and some of the work that Horizon has done to kind of pull together the community to try and really make an impact. Maybe you could speak to that about the community fund that you all have raised and what you're planning to do with that.
Absolutely. So our Coronavirus Relief Fund launched pretty quickly in March to gather resources around this specific cause and these specific needs for nonprofits. The fund quickly raised $2.1 million. We kind of entered April with a good pool of funds to deploy in Northern Kentucky, and since then we've deployed a little over $600,000, and we're still raising a little bit of money at a time as folks are looking to continue to give because we're continuing to see rippling effects of the pandemic, and nonprofits are continuing to see emerging or exacerbated needs because of the pandemic.
So that's just great news. So you've been able to pull together over $2 million. One of the first questions people might ask is, well, why not have all those dollars dispersed already?
Absolutely. So that speaks to the sort of conservative approach that our advisory committee has taken when deploying the funds. We had the opportunity to kind of go ahead and ran out all of the money all at once as we saw the initial kind of crisis emerge. But we were able to take a step back, which, in hindsight, we're just grateful that we took that time to really reflect on what's going to happen after this initial wave of food, shelter, medications. After those needs are met, what are other potential implications of the pandemic, such as housing crises? And we are getting ready for that wave as well. So we've been able to hold on to a good portion of the fund to conservatively, very judiciously put these funds out into the community.
And I think everybody who makes a contribution wants to see those dollars being used in an exponential way, right, and not just a short-term way. So that's great news. So one of the things I think that's important is that relief fund was there. On the ongoing efforts of Horizon is to give an avenue by the community for residents, people in Northern Kentucky to actually contribute to the bigger need of Northern Kentucky. You've got a couple of avenues that people can do. What are those? I think one of them is called 410. And maybe you can touch on those as well.
Absolutely. So our giving circles are another way we're trying to really change the conversation around philanthropy in Northern Kentucky. So the 410 is a giving circle that we built sort of for emerging philanthropists, folks trying to get their feet wet in philanthropy, but not quite, getting their wing of music hall. We just kind of want people to see what their gifts are and how they can make an impact in Northern Kentucky. And the 410 is a great way to do that. It's an annual commitment, and you can participate for as many years as you want. So it's $410, and we named it so because of the 29 zip codes that span Northern Kentucky, which we thought was a really fun amount. It's also a very, as far as this goes, an approachable amount for people to start getting involved. Last year, the group got together, decided to focus on community vibrancy and arts, and ended up helping kickstart an entire mural project in Newport, Kentucky with Jack Moreland and his team at South Bank Partners in the city of Newport. And that unveiling will be later this month, which is really exciting for these emerging philanthropists to see their dollars come to life in these really long-term projects that make an impact in Northern Kentucky. So that's one of the ways. We also have Give Where You Live Northern Kentucky is our speed philanthropy giving circle. So that's 1 hour per quarter. So it's 4 times a year, $100 at each meeting. You walk in and nobody knows who's going to walk out with a $5,000 check. But if a nonprofit in Northern Kentucky walks out with that check at the end of each meeting, so members contribute $100 at the beginning of the meeting, nominate a nonprofit, then we draw 3 at random, and then those 3 have 3 minutes to pitch to the rest of the members why they should choose their nonprofit. So at the end of those 3-minute pitches, everybody votes and the winner's determined. And often it takes less than 45 minutes. It's just a really exciting way to ramp up philanthropy in Northern Kentucky across age, sectors. It's a really fun, diverse group there. So it's just kind of a couple of ways we plug into Northern Kentucky.
And I love the give where you live. I guess the concept is we contribute more by doing it together, but also this unique way of allowing you to give a little and then celebrate with one organization. And with all the great organizations in Northern Kentucky that are doing so good, this really allows you to kind of come together and even do more.
Absolutely.
Well, let's talk briefly about going back to the beginning of Horizon and the mission. You know, the three things you just talked about: COVID relief, 410, and these giving circles, and the give where you live. These are a couple of things that are really exemplify the idea of Horizon coming together. In full disclosure, of course, I'm involved in Horizon in a couple of different areas, but what I think now with the organization being open for a while and up and running, what is the one thing you wish that people knew more about Horizon funds that they didn't know before? Is there anything in particular you see that you really wish people knew about?
I think one thing that I would love to continue building awareness around about Horizon Community Funds is the fact that you really can plug in at any level. You know, sometimes people approach a community foundation with either a sense of wonder or they're going to kind of leave it behind because they can't feel themselves attaching to it. But our community foundation is so deeply rooted in Northern Kentucky and so committed to building philanthropy at every level, to really getting everything from those $50 gifts to those, $500,000 gifts. But we really take a lot of time to cultivate those $50 gifts and those new givers and those really wondering, how can I make a difference in Northern Kentucky, these counties? It's been so much fun to watch that come to life, just in a small geographic footprint, but with so much impact.
That's a great way of putting it. United Way is out there. There are a lot of organizations that collect dollars, but this is one of those areas that really can impact in a much greater way even than anyone ever expected. So it's good stuff. Well, thanks for giving us a few minutes of your time this afternoon, and here's to your great successes in the future, and hopefully that the 410 continues to grow and other giving circles, and in particular the COVID relief fund. So thanks so much for your time.
Thank you so much.